stand as you are willing and sing our opening song.
In this divine moment we come to express all the love that we have from our hearts. In this divine moment we know we are blessed, for we might be where we are. In this divine moment we open our hearts, we open our minds to know who we are. In this divine moment we listen, we sing, we let go of rainbows right now. To this moment, let's see, this moment. To this divine moment we breathe in the air, we listen, we also this divine moment we pray all is done. It's like perfect peace and rest. In this divine moment we open our hearts, we open our minds to know who we are. In this divine moment we listen, we sing, we let go of rainbows right now. To this moment, to this moment, to this moment, to this moment.
Welcome, everyone, to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. It's just a wonder to see all of you here this morning. I just get so excited. But it's a wonderful Sunday, cold, but not snowy, so it's a good Sunday. And we're starting our new year off with supporting each other and helping each other and planning how we want our new year to go. This month is traditionally the month that we talk about the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind text. And so that's what we're going to be doing this month. And the title this morning of the talk is In the Beginning, God. So our goal is to give you as much overall feeling for what Science of Mind teaches. And yeah, so that'll give you a good foundation. All right. Somebody got an emergency? Or
It's just an emphasis from Spirit, and I will be turning that off if
Okay. All right. All right. So, we light a candle. We light a candle because it reminds us of the light that is one representation of Spirit, and it reminds us of the power that is in Spirit. And so we open today with a affirmative prayer treatment. And so, as I stand here, I let myself open up to what is being called to be said, to what is being called to be done. I am one with the great I am. For in the beginning, God. And I was created as a part of that. The same substance, the same being. And I am so very grateful. And so I set my intention for this morning, and I invite you to set yours. What is it that you came to give? What is it that you came to receive? What knowledge did you come to see in a new way? And whatever your intention may be, we all support it. And Spirit, most of all. And so with hearts filled with gratitude and joy, we let it be. We know that it is done. And together And so it is. Okay. I think that's announcements. Gordon?
New Year, Newton.
What is it today? New Year Newton. I hope that means he's kind of new himself, but we'll see. Louisville Center for Spiritual Living, welcome guys, and we're going to run right through this and get you the latest information. Happy New Year. Then go gets a fresh start. Yeah, with a new ear, okay. That's terrible. Okay.
What?
Join us for lunch, Social Sunday today, after service. Now, where's the location of that going to be? Right back here, okay. Great. Perfect. January 12th, after service, 1 hour open discussion defining our center's future, what it looks like to each of us, January 12th. So that would be next Sunday. Good, okay, you'll all be there. All right, you know what the time is and the place. Great. Next. Practitioner of the day, our Pat. Yay, Pat. Meet Pat up front. Any words of wisdom before attending that meeting?
I will be, within 4 minutes, I will be from here to there, so if you have a prayer request, join me.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, our January, my goodness, affirmation. Everybody all together? This is the year I will be stronger, braver, kinder, unstoppable, and this year I will be fierce. Yes. Tell your story. Haha, we've been here before. Okay. Miss Joan, yeah. They have to stand here or slightly to the side. Either one
I'll
will work.
stay slightly to the side.
I think that'll,
Do I lean a little to the
I
side?
think, well, that's the guy you gotta please right up there.
No, my
That's the
name's
man.
Joan. It's good to see you all. A lot of you all know my dog, Red Dog. And he's my prayer walk partner, the holiest dog in Bullitt County. And I love him dearly. And about 3 weeks ago, it was raining. It was about 7:30 at night. I take him out at that time so he can go to the restroom so he won't wake me up at night. It's raining. It's dark. I'm not paying attention. I'm tired. He pulls. The collar comes off. He's gone. And you have to understand, Red Dog was a rescue. I got him when he was 6 years old. He lived out on a farm, country, acres, hundreds of acres. And he was tied to a tree most of the time. But they would let him off, and he would run, and he would run. So you never let Red Dog off the leash. And it really hurt my feelings, too, because I think it's dark, it's raining, and you'd rather be out there doing that than be with me. I couldn't believe it. And it wasn't that cold. I opened my garage door, I sat back in my mud room, and I read a book for about an hour, hoping and waiting he'd come home. He didn't. So I went to bed, and I slept a little, and I'd get up and look in the front door, no Red Dog. I'd get up, I'd sleep, no Red Dog. Well, I love the consciousness level. I love dreams. Spirit gave me this wonderful dream. And I dreamed I was in the backyard. Sun was shining, the grass was green, very colorful. My backyard. Here comes Red Dog. Happy, grinning from ear to ear, basically telling me, I'm having a blast out here. And I woke up, and I felt better, and I slept for a while. 6:15, I get up, I go to the door, no Red Dog. He's been gone 11 hours. About 15 minutes later, I go to the door, 6:30 in the morning, and there's Red Dog. And he's kind of looking like, what are you doing? You know? Very tired. He slept for 24 hours. He's 11 years old. He had a little gimp in his shoulder. I have no idea where he went. There's 400 acres by me. I have no idea what he did. Thank God it was raining. The coyotes were tucked in. You know, otherwise, I don't know if he would. We have a lot of people have a lot of coyotes, but they tuck in when it rains. But they would, you know, they're always challenging out there. So, but anyway, he did come home, and I did get that wonderful dream that Red Dog was having a blast. He was perfectly okay in green pastures, and so that's my story.
Cool. I'm going to use that as a segue into my dog story, okay? Which won't beat that, but it's a story. Most of you know of my little Pocket and Jack. And Jack is a small, they're both very small dogs, Shih Tzus, high-spirited. We got them as puppies at 6 weeks, and they've been with us all the time. Well, they got stolen the other night. I know, isn't that awful? It's not quite like running free, but they probably had about a moment of freedom, and that was it. And they got stolen, and it was very traumatic for Margot, especially. I just figured, well, you know, they're boys, they're out, they're running around, they're doing their thing, they'll be back, and so on and so forth. But anyway, we called the police. They checked the yard, the fence, and the gates, just to make sure everything was locked down tight and so on. And they came up with this scenario, kind of a weird scenario, that, well, maybe somebody just came and reached over and said, here, boy, and they came, you know, and picked them up and left. And then the dog was, they were trying to get the dogs in their car. They made it across Bardstown Road, and for any of you who knows Bardstown Road, that's like killer alley, man, for animals. It's a bad one. But they made it across there and were picked up by a woman who also has a small dog who goes to the same groomer that we take Jack and Pocket to. And so she immediately went online to Facebook and that, and there was our two dogs. Other people had seen them and said, if you've seen these guys, call this number. And so we got a call about 2 hours later. So it wasn't 10 or 12, but it was a couple hours later from the groomer and said, I think we know where your dogs are. And you just show up tomorrow morning here about 9 o'clock and we'll have them ready for you. And indeed, they did. And so we got them back like within 24 hours. So it was a cool, I like the red dog story too. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. The other thing I might want to mention was that Victoria and I were on the phone at the time I was telling the story, and she was saying, well, we need to pray about this one, you know, to get these puppies back. I said, yeah, it's a good idea. And just as she started, I mean, I think the prayer had just started.
Actually, we had just released it.
You had just released it, okay. And then in my office area burst Margot, and she said, they found the puppies. It was just really busy, you know, it was really cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we call alignment in this game, right? We call that alignment, yeah. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
Okay. This is not really my story, but it's a miracle.
Does it have a dog in it?
No dogs.
We'll listen anyway.
Oh, it's so kind. Okay, well, once upon a time, isn't that the way all good stories start? I was at the New Albany Library, and I met my friend, and we sat and talked a while, and then we got ready to go to lunch. This is what we do every Thursday. And this man came up to me that I had never met, but I have this on my forehead. It says, please tell your troubles to. And I can't get it off. I've tried. But anyway, the point was, this man said, can you stand a miracle today? Well, my friend who can't hear was out waiting for me, and I was trying to signal to her I had to hear the story. And I said, go ahead. He said, I'm a severe diabetic. And I thought, cancel that. But I didn't say anything. I said, okay. And he said, I was out for a walk because I'm supposed to exercise every day of my life. I thought, well, everybody should, but it's his story. Anyway, he said, I fell down in somebody's yard. I couldn't go any further, and I was just there breathing. I just couldn't get up. And this woman came out, and she talked like a kind top sergeant. And she said, you've got severe diabetes. He said, yes, ma'am. And she said, I'll fix you right up. I know exactly what to do. She said, just enjoy the yard. Came back out with a little bit of milk. She said, give it 10 minutes and then go on your way. He drank a little bit of milk, and he lay there, and in 10 minutes he was up and he walked home. Now, I don't know that milk would do this, but it did. And I don't know if it was his belief that she was going to help him, or if it was God, or it was a combination. But I thought it was a great story. And he said, "You got anything wrong?" Yes, I'm fine.
Last chance.
I wanted to jump in here. Michelin has been to our service and has been part of our group, but it's been a while. And she's here this morning, and she works as a professional with the homeless. And they're having a symposium on homelessness from 1 to 4 on Thursday. So if you would like to hear more about that and maybe how you could serve or what they're doing or whatever, then it's going to be right across the street where the flags are. And I'm going to hope they know where that is. I don't. But anyway, so I wanted to make sure that y'all knew about that. All right? Okay. Pat, no, that's it.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I was preparing for my reading, and I was looking through decades-old Science of Mind's January issues to find something appropriate. And I found a bunch of really good stuff for starting the new year. And I couldn't make up my mind what I was going to read, and I thought, I actually considered a spiritual reading filibuster and just do them all. But something had been in my mind, and I decided I was going to do that, and I decided it late last night, and I was too tired to put it on paper. So this morning I got up, and in about 20 minutes, this just poured out of me, and I wanted to share with you. In Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge famously repents of his ways and declares, "I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year." I have a list of what ifs, and I've just recently added that quote. Other what ifs include, what if everybody taught their children to meditate at an early age? What if 80% of all cropland wasn't used for animal feed? And so on and so on. So what if we honor Christmas and keep it in our hearts all year? Certainly I'm not speaking of the crazy busy hustle and bustle of trying to buy everyone's gifts, get them wrapped, or the over-obligated feeling that comes with accepting too many invitations. I'm talking about the sweetness of the season, the compassion of the season, the I just love everyone aspect of the season. Why can't we, right here, right now, in 2020, try to carry the feeling of goodwill towards others, even those we don't understand, even those we are fearful of, into this new decade and beyond? What if we were fully present to others around us instead of being lost in our own mental to-do list? Why can't we feel the love and inner glow of the warmth of the Christmas season without the trees and lights? What if we consciously produced within us every morning that same spirit and let it radiate to envelop our families and friends and even strangers? What if we weren't thinking about any aspect of any person other than the fact that they too were a face of God? Why can't we go around humming our favorite tunes as we occupy our time with mundane tasks? Why can't we smile even if others, not so inclined, wonder what we're up to? Why can't the gifts we have to give be from our hearts instead of our wallets? What if the light of the season shone from us like a beacon of hope to others, especially our little ones? During the Christmas season, churches are filled to capacity with people longing to grasp and hold on to the wonder, the beauty, the truth of not just the season, but of whom they instinctively know they are. What if they held that truth all the year? We here and at every Center for Spiritual Living are perfectly poised to set the example. We know, because we've been taught and we understand our connection to Spirit and to each other. What if we were to start the trend? What if we, the metaphysicians of the world, were meant to be the proof that the spirit of Christmas is possible all the year? Imagine it. Take that in and think about that. And recreate that feeling within you as you sit here this morning. What if we, each of us, change our very lives by keeping Christmas all the year? Wouldn't that be worth the effort? What if we change the world in doing that? All the best in 2020, and so it is.
In the beginning, God. We in the Science of Mind group think of it as there's a life principle that we call God, and many other names, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there's a life principle at work, and it was the only thing at one time. It was the beginning, and it was and is a meditative power, a force in our lives and in everyone's life. Now, they tell you this. There is no way for us to know other than the fact that many people have come to the same conclusion. And we've kind of, Ernest Holmes looked at the logic of it and went back that way for the logic. But they talk about that this life principle began to think about creating more stuff instead of just itself. And so it did that. It began to meditate on the planets and the solar systems and the earth and all the flowers that are on the earth and all the animals that are on the earth and the infinite number of people that are on the earth right now. And it created by thinking about these things. And so it thought of me and it thought of you. And we all have our foundation in that. Now, in the beginning, before there was an atom, and I mean atom, it was, and it is, and it created everything out of itself. So there is nothing outside of itself. That's a hard concept for some of us because we look at the ugliness in the world and we don't quite understand that. But the truth is that it is all spirit. Now, we have free will, and that gets us into a lot of trouble. But that's one of our greatest gifts, is to have free will, to make our own decisions and make our own ways in the world. But we came from the one. Everything came from the one, and we are all one. All one. And so there's nothing that can separate us. There's nothing that can stand and say, okay, well, you're really not a spirit. Nope, everybody is, whether you like them or not. And whether they have proven beneficial to you or not, they are still spirit. And so when Ernest wrote the book, he called it The Thing Itself. And the reason for calling it The Thing Itself was so that people could get past thinking of it as God in heaven on his throne, or God, whatever your youthful training told you, and really see it as a power, a meditative substance power, not somebody that is like you or me. You know, we through the ages, if you look at religion, they give spirit all of the attributes of a man. You know, and so he gets angry and he's vengeful and he's doing all this stuff, and it's in the Old Testament, I know. But that's not what spirit is. And Enrico, what's his last name?
Are you talking about Rocco Errico?
Yes, Rocco Errico. He has studied the Bible forever. That's been his great calling. But not just to read the St. James translation, but to go back to the Aramaic, learn it, become a scholar in it, and then when he reads the Bible, he reads it in the original Aramaic. And so he sees the nuances of the words. And the word fear and love are the exact same word. Love has a little tick on the word if it's written out. And then when you're saying it, the way you're saying it, the inclination of your thoughts and the way it comes out will tell someone whether you're talking about fear or love. But really, it's very minor, the difference. And his question is, what would it have been like if it had been translated love instead of fear? And instead of hearing fear God, you heard love God. You are loved by God. And you love everyone else. And so you have this from the time that you're a young one. Our culture is based on love, because that's what the teaching is of the churches, is that they have translated it, and it's love. And so everywhere you see fear, you can translate that to love. And so I thought it was a really wonderful idea. You know, they constantly learn new things about the Aramaic and how to translate it and what it means. And the Hebrew is also that way, that kind of a language that is very, very easy to misunderstand because it's just little small differences. So,
Carolyn, just very quickly, some people may not know that it's the original language of Jesus.
oh, that's true. Aramaic was his original language of Jesus, as Vicki said, and it was what the Bible was written in to some extent, to a large extent. And so it really is the language of the Bible. And so the New Testament and Old Testament were much of it written in Aramaic. So, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting his name, Rocco. Rocco has been studying the Bible for decades, and he is a well-known and well-trusted translator of the original verses in the Bible. He also writes for the Science of Mind magazine. And so if you want to hear more about him and know more about him, and you take the Science of Mind magazine, then look him up. He has a column each month, and he talks about things from a perspective of interpreting Bible. And you know that Ernest Holmes also deeply respected Jesus and deeply respected the Bible. From his decade, from his birth and his lifetime, I should say, that was what everybody went to. They went to the Bible, and he did too. He learned it at his young age. And so he used it a lot, but he went past what tradition said about it. He looked at it with new eyes to see what was it really saying. And the answers that he came up with were a lot different than what traditional churches will tell you. So we have this thing itself. Now, what do you call God? We changed it to spirit because a lot of people have a lot of baggage with the word God. Some faiths are really, God is mean and he's after you and he's watching you and he really wants to send you to hell. And, that kind of thing. And people carry that. There are people who carry the condemnation because some churches say, you're not worthy, you can't be saved. You're in mortal sin, and it's their lifestyle. And so it's what they are called to. It's their nature. And so that brings a lot of, they don't want to hear the word God. And so he used the thing itself to help us see that in a different way. Now, what do you call spirit? I know you do. All right. Going to be closed mouth about it.
Divine creative force.
Divine creative.
I'm trying to think of what I usually use the most. And it's either divine creative source or Mother, Father, God. And when I'm speaking personally, sometimes I address Christ as a person because that's just an intimate thing for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, some of the ones that I came up with were creative power, which is, that's it. It's creative power. It creates everything. And we are made in the image of spirit, right? And so for many centuries, it's been translated that God is a man, and so he's, he does things like a man does, and he sits on a throne and that sort of thing. But he's not. It's not that. It's a power. It's a presence. It's the life principle. All right, so creative intelligence. It is infinite intelligence. One of my favorites is I am. When Moses was in the desert and God sent him to the Pharaoh to say, let my people go, he said, who will I tell them sends me? And he said, I am. I am that I am sends you. I am. There is no beginning for me. There is no end. There will not be. There is no change. There's no limitation. I am, and that's it. And so I like that one a lot. First cause. That's what we're talking about so far this morning. It is the first cause. And everything comes from that first cause. Mind, anytime you think of thought, spirit is right there. It's with you in and around you all the time, thinking and expressing as you in your uniqueness, but you're still spirit doing it. So, invisible essence, ultimate stuff, and then, of course, what Ernest calls the thing itself. And as I said, where does it live? It lives in and around everything. It's in all of nature, and it's in all of you. So, I loved what Pat wrote, because that's what Rocco is telling us. If we lived our lives not fearing, but loving, what would we see as the difference in the culture that we live in? And spend some time thinking about that. If there had been love for the last however many centuries, 21, then we wouldn't have the strife that we have. We wouldn't have the hatred that we have, and all those things that cause us so much pain, because they are filled with fear. Someone who's hurting someone else has fear within them. And so we would not have that. So it's an awesome thing to think about. There are gifts that were given to us. They're basic. Love and freedom. Those are the gifts. And we have been given them freely and to our use. So the second gift is the ability to express your gifts, to recognize them, and to choose what it is that you want to choose. Consciousness, what is it? Every thought, idea, action in some part of consciousness is some part of consciousness. Just because it has been that way doesn't mean we have to have to continue in that limited thinking. There's a story about a young woman, and she was with her family, and they were cooking, and her mother took out a roast, and she cut the end of it off, and she put it in her pan and stuck it in the oven and cooked it. And so the young woman thought, she does that with turkeys too. She does that with hams too. Why did she cut the ends off? So she asked her. She said, we've always done that as our family tradition. And so she said, well, did grandmother start it? No, your great-grandmother, I think. But you can ask your grandmother. So she went and asked her grandmother. She said, no, that's the way we did it when I started cooking. That's what grandmother taught me. Okay, all right, well, why? I don't know. It's what we've always done. It's our family tradition. So that didn't really satisfy the young woman, and so she tried to figure out what it was. And then her grandmother said, oh, wait a minute. I have my mother's recipe box. You want her recipe box? Yes. So she looked up a roast, and it told how to prepare it, and it said to cut off the end so it will fit in the pan and fit in the oven. It was very practical for her. The ovens were much smaller than they are now, and you had a certain pan that would fit into it, and so everything had to go into that pan. Tradition. We have so many of them that we're not even aware of, and they control what we do and how we think and how we respond. So think about what it is that you are thinking, that you've always thought, but doesn't really serve you very well. And see if you can think of another way to think about it. There's a quote saying that it is not the religion that you follow. It is not what you consider a spiritual thing. It is the cosmos that you live in. So it's not what you think it ought to be. It's not what someone else tells you it ought to be. It's the cosmos that you live in. And by that, you're making choices all the time. Some of the choices have already been made for you. You had a birth family, okay? That's part of your consciousness, and it always will be. No matter whether it was happy or not happy, it will be always part of your consciousness. You've learned things as a young person, and as you got older, you have adapted to your body in one way or another. Some wholeheartedly and some with limitations. That I love my body except, and several gurus say you ought to stand and look at your body naked. You know, none of us want to do that. But we really should make friends with our body. But it's your cosmos. So don't think of your religion as what you do on a Sunday morning. What you are living in, what you are expressing, your relationship to spirit is the cosmos that you live in. And so think about, how do you choose your friends? How do you have long-time friends? You have short-term friends? How do you choose where you go and what you do and how you live? What is it that you are making choices about constantly? And do you want to make a different choice? So, in the beginning, God. I want to lead us in a meditation. Oh, good. And it's a little bit longer than usual, but not much. But anyway, Lo's going to play. And meditation, I think we all know, feet on the floor, hands in your lap, palms up in a receptive way, taking a deep breath several times and letting our bodies relax, bringing them into alignment, your head sitting comfortably on your spine, your shoulders pulled back, and relax. And relax. And let us go on a journey. Right here, you are in this room. Look around. Take note of it. What does it feel like? How does it feed you? And now take yourself out of this room and look down on the building itself, 300 Spring. And look around Jeffersonville. And see it. Take a deep breath. And see yourself high in the sky. You can see for miles and miles, all directions. You can see trees and birds flying by and little tiny people down below. And breathe. Take a breath. Move out to the stars themselves. Look around you and see the sun in one direction, the earth in another, surrounded by stars. What does that feel like? Take a breath. Move back in time before anything was created. And breathe. There is not stuff to see. There is a presence to feel. to the best of your ability, relax, open yourself to feel and know the life principle. Now move forward in time and witness the first star filling the blackness. The excitement of that first creation. As you move forward, you see more and more stars and planets. You look everywhere to see as much as you can, to invite the feeling of creation, the feeling of power. You find yourself among all the many stars and you see the earth below. As you shine out, what are you sending forth? Are you sending forth love, excitement, fun, or many, many other things that you could? But ask yourself, what am I sending forth to the world? And now you take a deep breath and you move back into the sky, the beautiful blue sky. Looking out to space, looking down to the earth, seeing it, appreciating it. Take a deep breath and come back to right above our building. Look around Jeffersonville. Does it look different to you? And now breathe and return to your chairs. And as you fully feel yourself present right here, right now, breathe deeply. Presence is available to each of us all the time. And it's where life happens. So take a few breaths, thinking back on your experience, opening to learn more, to fully experience what you have learned, and breathe. Begin to be deeply aware of your body. And when you're ready, then take a breath and be fully present right here, right now. And together we let it be. And we know that it is done. And so it is. Okay. Oops. I am the light of God. 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 You are 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 the light of God. We 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 are the light of
It's prosperity time. Time for us to say thank you for all we have, not from a place of fear, like there might not be enough, or from expecting anything else, but just from gratitude for what we have and for knowing what we're given back by sharing what we have. And while you thank God, we thank you for everything you've done. And if you're watching this online, you can donate at lcslonline.org, and we appreciate you as well. Now, join me in saying our prosperity affirmation, and it's exciting. I know you just woke up from a meditation, but say this like you mean it. Here's to knowing 2020 brings new, exciting, wonderful, youthful, extraordinary, abundant rejuvenation to all of us.
Praise God.
Thank you. And so, with joy, we receive our gifts and offerings, and we know that with joy, we will get back, because it's always a give and take, a give and receive, a give and be. And so we give with joy and expect to receive with joy. And it is our great pleasure to say thank you to the one. So it is. Okay, there's no prayer in the prayer box. And so I'm going to take just a minute to do one of my favorite prayers. It's a Native American prayer. And so we're going to do that. We're going to bless our food is what we're going to do. Because after this, we have our Social Sunday, and we would like to have everybody stay. Personally, I'd like for you to eat everything I brought, so I don't have to take it home with me. All right? So, take a deep breath. Be fully present in this moment and in this group. In a world where many people feel alone, we are grateful that we have friends, family, and if we are one of those people, that feeling of loneliness can be met in ways unbelievably wonderful. In a world where many don't have enough to eat, we are grateful that we do, and we vow to help others to do that as well. In a world where we seem to walk alone, we welcome the fact that we always walk with the truth of our being, which is the life principle. And so we know all these things. We bless our food to the perfect nourishment of each of our bodies. We bless our group to share food, love, joy, and blessing. And so we let it be. And so it is. Okay. I think we're at the closing song. So if you would, stand up.
I am peace, I am joy, I am love. I am peace, I am joy, I am love. I am in harmony with everything that's a part of me. I am peace, I am joy, I am love. You are peace, you are joy, you are love. You are peace, you are joy, you are love. You are in harmony with everything God has promised you. You are peace, you are joy, you are love. We are peace, we are joy, we are love. We are peace, we are joy, we are love. We are in harmony with everything God has always seen. We are peace, we are joy, we are love. We are peace, we are joy, we are love.
Yay! Let's circle up. It may take us a minute, but let's do it. Let's get out of the way of the light. Oh. Let's give Jerry and Vicki a minute. Come on, Jerry. Come get in the circle. Okay, hang on something. Ah, you're not doing anything. You're just fine. Okay, and so we take a look around this circle, and we know that we are starting 2020, a year of stability and perfect eyesight, which we learned last week, and we are very excited to do that, and we're excited to do it in this group with the support and the love that is expressed. And so put your hands to the heart to the left of you, or thereabouts. I mean, okay, you know, thereabouts. And send whatever you want to send around the circle. Love, health, joy, whatever. But send good stuff all around the circle and see it go circle and circle. And it just picks up and gets more and more powerful. And we send it to everyone in this circle knowing that they experience it too. Put your hands to the heart of the right of you. And you say, and me too. And me too. Yes. We receive. All right. It's the copper.
Penny or keep in mind.
Couple pennies, and they won't droop down so much.
Flip right up. I will do that when I go.
Yeah, they're beautiful, I love those.
Go ask Bob. He's got pennies in his pocket.
There we go.
And he'd be glad to share.
Yeah, that's who told you that. Because it's supposed to be a